Wake up, kids, it's Joe and Nick for your weekend vacation. Grab your stool, squat on down for crappy animation. Let the gang's dumb commentary prop open your eyelids and watch some TV shows that have aged even worse than they did. So fill your bowls, use your spoons, it's Shaturday morning cartoons.
Happy
Saturday!
Welcome to Shaturday Morning Cartoons. I'm George, here in the Shaturday Shack with Professor Caitlin McGurk of the Billy Ireland Cartoon Library and Museum at Ohio State University in Columbus. How are you today, Professor?
I'm doing really well. I have my Saturday mug because I miss Nick and Joe, and we have to do a bad job today. Otherwise, they're
Yes.
going to leave us forever. So,
Yes. They're out promoting Chop and Steal, the documentary about the Found Footage Festival, their zany lawsuit, their incredibly weird friendship, and we can't wait to get them back. But in the meantime, we have not one, not three, but two very special guests. First, we welcome back horror expert Laura Wimbels of Lenora's Midnight Rental. How are you doing?
Hello. I am doing well, thank you. I hope you are all as well on this fine Saturday morning. Thank you for having me back.
And people describe your show as the scariest show on the Found Footage Festival channel. Do you think that's accurate?
Is it scary because of how unprepared I am when I'm shooting it?
Ayo.
I'm fine with it being labeled as such, but hopefully it's informative and stimulating. So some
Yes.
infotainment in there as well.
Infotainment is right. And of course, we have director Steve from VCR Party Live, whose real name, of course, is Steve Lawrence. And people think of you as the jock sham guy who watch this channel, but nobody seems to know that you have a pretty shocking resume of shows that you've produced or been involved with. What are some of those shows?
I don't, geez, George, put me on the spot. Modern Marvels, Adam Eats the 80s. I worked on Big Brother back in the day. I directed LA Inc. I don't know. There's a lot out there. I've been doing this for 20 some odd years. So
I didn't know any of that.
Nobody knows that that's your big secret, is that you're like,
He's the real pro.
yeah, you're the real
you
deal.
would never
Steve.
know it by watching the show, or at first when Caitlin said we had to do a bad job, I was like, oh, no wonder they brought me on as a guest. But then,
Hired.
You must be horrified when you see what I do.
No, I enjoy it. I learned so much. I wouldn't say I like horror, but like I do genuinely get scared, so I do have to
Have some padding.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't do a ton of it, but it's been fun watching your show.
We're sort of like the four satellites to the binary planets that are Joe and Nick. So this is a little weird. It feels like you're on vacation without your parents or something. Like there's anything could happen.
We're having a sleepover, and
Yes.
you're not here, and we're the charms on the charm bracelet.
We're excited, but we're a little scared, a little nervous.
This is a good example of the inmates running the asylum. So let's
Yes.
do it.
All right. So we're going to watch a cartoon today called Spiral Zone. It has an unbelievably convoluted backstory. Of course, it was just one long toy commercial. Actually, wait a minute. I have not yet asked about mugs and cereals. Caitlin, you showed a mug.
Yeah, and I have a cereal too. So since I know we're watching a show that's vaguely zombie related, I've got these Rice Krispies blue and green color mix. I don't really understand the concept here, but they look like they're decomposing. So I thought that made sense for this one. I guess it's supposed to be spring themed. I don't know. It's not really working.
Well, I have a very special mug. This is the Don Sparrow collection. Don Sparrow is the official artist of Saturday Morning Cartoons. You can go check out his awesome work online. There's me, Caitlin, Joe, Nick, Laura, and director Steve. It's one of a kind. It just came off of my printer. What do you got, Steve?
I've got my wife's aunt makes these amazing mugs. Oh, no, am I not gonna be able to show it?
Yeah, there you go.
They're all handcrafted. I don't know. I'm not.
It's a green screen mug.
Yeah, it's a green screen mug. But Deborah Sears, Isis Ceramics, and it's named after the river in Oxford. So check her out.
Wow, cool.
That's very high end for Saturday morning cartoons. What do you got, Laura?
First, Steve, you got to do a Steve sellout corner with your wife's mugs if you have.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to. It's not my wife's. My wife's aunt. Just
your wife's aunt.
Oh, okay.
I probably didn't. Once again, my sellouts are terrible, so that's why no one understood anything.
I definitely thought it was your wife's mug, so I'm glad we clarified that you're not married to your aunt.
Because I couldn't get the word mug out, which is the only thing that was beforehand. And oh man,
she has a rug factory. Yeah.
We're already like at that point in the sleepover where you would just have like giddy energy and it makes no sense. So
it's past 2 a.m.
We've been eating Fun Dip for 12 hours and we don't know what's going on.
Well, continuing in the spirit of the previous episode where Caitlin brought up that this was the most female participants in an episode and we were doing female empowerment, I brought a Hooters mug that I found at a Goodwill not too long ago because nothing says female empowerment like the objectification of a woman's body.
I've never been to one. I don't expect to go to one.
I've been to one once, but I will say Columbus just opened up its own sort of chain of Hooters ripoffs that are called Twin Peaks. And the sign looks almost identical to the Twin Peaks logo. It's I know.
Okay,
I know. It's upsetting on so many levels.
No, next episode we need to go there and film in the parking lot. And I thought you were going to say it was called like Teats or something.
Yeah.
I've been to the Hooters in Clearwater, Florida, which I believe is the original one. Not really missing much.
Okay. I understand the food there is amazing.
Just like the articles in Playboy. Yes.
Yeah. I'm not going to ask you, Steve.
I'm a recovering meathead. I think we all know the answer.
Did you used to manage a Hooters too?
No.
Anyhow, kids, you're here to watch cartoons, and Spiral Zone is a cartoon that has just a shockingly convoluted backstory, and like all of these, it's just one long toy commercial. So let's watch one.
Earth's most powerful soldiers fight the Spiral Zone. Gentlemen, in an effort to crush the zone, Dirk Courage commands the most powerful machines on Earth, the Rimfire Cannon. And the Zone Rider Cycle. Only their awesome power can defeat the evil Overlord's Bullwhip Cannon.
Have a nice trip.
And monstrous sledgehammer tanks. Each sold separately, new from Tony.
I always love how the backyards of families in toy commercials of the 80s were. Like somehow there was always like a ravine, there was a smoke machine. I would love playing there too, probably now.
And I also love that like the names of those characters, if those were characters, were just like the most aggressive boy things possible, like Sledgehammer Cannon and Bullwhip Tank.
Yeah, it's the new toxic masculinity playset. So I'm sorry, I have to go through the history of this epic toy line that has been completely forgotten. My only memory of Spiral Zone was this creepy ad that appeared in DC Comics in 1987. In the Spiral Zone, no one thinks about leaving. No one thinks, period. No one thinks about freedom or liberty. Everyone's thinking is done for them by the Black Widows. Is the Zone coming to your town? I don't know. I'm scared already.
Me too.
Didn't pick up the comic, but it looked freaky.
It also sounds a lot like, have any of you guys read Uzumaki? Does anyone know what that is? It's this manga by Junji Ito, and the whole concept is a town that's haunted by spirals, which sounds very much the same as this.
Well, I'll say this.
There's no way they're connected. It's like one of the best horror mangas of all time. Highly recommend. But anyway, we'll see if there's any crossover.
I know nothing about it, but I guarantee you it is much superior to what we're going to watch today.
What's happening with their faces? Sorry, what's going on with their faces?
That's the sign that they their minds have been controlled.
Oh.
That's part of
Spirosacea.
Yeah, that's what I was.
People were mocked for their appearance in the 80s, and this is what that was about. Now, Spiral Zone started out as a toy line from the Japanese company Bandai. They had these toys that were really well constructed. You could tell they were Japanese because they would never be sold naked in the United States. But they were well known for having like many points of articulation as opposed to just being able to like move arms and legs. And it even had moving trigger fingers, which is, I don't know, that sounds cool now. But Tonka licensed them for the US market, and they simplified them considerably. There you see clothes are on, but they had, they had vehicles, they had the good guys, the bad guys, and I think a pretty okay logo. I imagine, I haven't been able to find anybody who has a tattoo of this, but this looks like, this is no dumber than many tattoos.
No,
I have a point.
Yes.
I noticed in slide 1A, I believe it was, the logo was that. Look, that's Twilight Zone. That's totally Twilight Zone. And I feel maybe a touch of Spinal Tap.
Good catch.
Still owe the Art Institute of Pittsburgh $20,000.
Well, we can do a Kickstarter for that. And they can get a signed copy of your degree or
give it right back to him.
Yeah. So as a cartoon, the Spiral Zone, not the Spiral Zone, Spiral Zone ran syndication for one season of 65 episodes in 1987. That's 13 straight weeks of 5 episodes. It's hard to wrap my head around something that was so short-lived and forgotten that had so many hours of content. They didn't have content back then. And so it was this complicated setup. In the future year, 2007, an evil scientist named Overlord creates machines called generators that emit a mind control region or zone around curved or spiral regions of the Earth. And people in these zones became slaves of Overlord and his villainous team, the Black Widows, and they would get these patches over themselves once they had lost their free will. But fighting for freedom is an international team called the Zone Riders, led by Colonel Dirk Courage. And they destroy the generators to free humanity. It didn't take off. There was a comic book tie-in, there were lunch boxes, and there was a fan club. But they disappeared pretty quickly.
Well, until years later, you were inspired and then came out with your band Overlord, right? This is what it all traces back to.
It's a direct line from this cartoon to my 30-year reign at the top of the charts. So it was developed by 2 screenwriters from the original 1978 Battlestar Galactica. So they knew how to write scripts. And their cast has had a deep bench. The voice actors include Dan Gilvezan, who played Bumblebee on Transformers and Spider-Man on Spider-Man and the Amazing Friends. This is Mona Marshall, who has been the voice of Sheila Bravlovsky on South Park since 1999. You've got Neil Ross, who starred in every cartoon of the 1980s. He was Rambo, he was O.G. Reedmore, but probably most recognizable as Shipwreck on G.I. Joe, this Jack Nicholson impersonation from The Last Detail. And Michael Bell, who was, he was Gleek from the Super Friends, but I always think of him as Duke.
Does every voice actor have one of these portraits where the characters are all around their face?
For conventions.
Or did you make these?
No. I grabbed them off of people's pages, and I expect the lawsuits. And and some guy named Frank Welker who appeared. And you can always tell Frank Welker's voices, or I can, because they always have this sort of it's like there's something stuck in their throat. I don't know how else to describe it, but when he talks, it sounds like when I have like an asthma attack, and there's like I can feel it way in the back. He made a career
full of yogurt.
yeah, yogurt. Anyhow, Welker. I don't mean to badmouth Welker. He's my hero. He's our hero. He's the patron saint of Saturday morning cartoons, and I hope we get him on the show so we can stop having the show. Are there any questions leading into part 1 of Spiral Zone?
Well, I just wanted to, I did a little bit of research, George. I know you're probably shocked, but I was surprised J. Michael Straczynski was one of the writers on this, as well as Jerry Conway was one of the co-creators of The Punisher. And there was somebody else there, but I was impressed about the writing they had. They took a lot of comic book writers and a lot of people who wrote in sci-fi novels.
Yeah, the stories are for cartoons for kids. They're pretty, I don't want to say well developed, because that brings us back to Hooters.
Was it for kids though? Because of it's like, I guess it's
3:30 on a weekday.
I gotta say, all the names you've given of the characters thus far, they do sound like porn star male names.
Well, fingers crossed.
It's like, what
We'll
was one of
inspire
them,
some
like
viewers.
Dirk Cannon or something?
Dirk Courage. And then there's Gigantus Genitalius.
You made that up.
Hard to say. We'll have to watch.
we'll find out.
Okay, here we go.
Surrender or pay the consequences.
Powerful soldiers are Earth's last chance to fight the spirals of darkness has fallen on the victims of the zone. Our world calls for courage, peace and freedom. We must own. We will fight on our honor, what is right. We'll defend, fight the zone. Zone riders, Earth's most powerful soldiers.
Oh man, this is just going.
I like it.
I like
It's
this.
promising.
Hear me out. It sounds like Crossfire, the game.
Oh, it
Crossfire.
totally does. Crossfire.
Crossfire.
You
Yeah,
get
it's
caught up in
totally-
the. Yeah,
totally
it sounds just like
Crossfire
it.
inspired.
Yeah.
What do you
Crossfire
think?
inspired, yeah.
What do you think about a Saturday morning cartoons dance party featuring all of the rockin' theme songs? I think that would be a whole
Yes!
episode.
I would love that. That
Yeah.
would be so much fun.
It could be like, well, and maybe not, but it could be like a late night premiere. It's like late
Yeah.
night,
Yeah.
Saturday night cartoons.
like a sleepover dance party.
Well,
Perfect.
that's maybe sometime we could do on Patreon or something. An all night cartoon blowout. Because if you do it on Patreon, then you don't have to worry about like all of the like you could do the cartoons that we can't get the rights for, like
Right.
Super Friends and Transformers. I don't know.
I love it.
I'm
okay.
into it.
I just want to see Nick and Joe dance.
You are amazing.
I've got roller skates here, so just say the word, I'll put them on.
All right. Get ready for this.
This music's great.
Remember, this is a kids cartoon.
Johnny, no! Johnny! Johnny! Mommy! Help me, Mommy!
Oh my
That's on him.
god!
My boy! Somebody help me, please! Another one for our side. And there'll be more
Oh, there's
tomorrow.
really an organ.
And tomorrow, the game
A hypnotic
goes
organ.
on.
Hypnotic organ, also a character's name in this.
Also a porn star.
Code to New York City, ETA your location at 0700.
Roger, Cargo 29er. We're looking forward to getting your little package. General McFarland.
Whoa, hell.
Well, Dr. Lawrence,
Also a porn
you'll soon
star.
have what we've all been praying for.
I finally found a name.
Providing Overlord has been fooled by our little trick.
That's just like McFarland. Flying the most important cargo in the world in an ordinary transport plane to avoid attracting any attention. Well, my black widows, it seems some of you have developed your intelligence sources, and some have not.
Is that Overlord?
Sure is.
It is?
No
Okay.
report at all.
I can see why you're so inspired, George.
Yeah.
Totally.
Thank you.
Now you will see why Bandit, rather than either
You should
of
try to
you,
grow your facial
is
hair
my
like that.
second in command.
The aircraft carries a cylinder of
Which
neutron
one?
90.
The over the nose look, you know?
To make additional protective suits. This is the last neutron 90 in existence because
Because the London laboratory, which was the only place it could be made, was destroyed.
Do the bad guys know they're the bad guys?
Realized it would fall into our...
I think so. Yeah, I think they
Yeah.
kind
Very
of,
good,
they're into it.
Duchess Dyer. I can always count on you. Once again you read my report, then spew it out as your own. It's dangerous to tread on me, Duchess Dyer.
Dangerous for whom, Bandit? Overlord isn't romantically interested in you.
So in a kids' cartoon,
going on?
of course, the bad guys are always infighting, but clearly, I believe her name is Duchess Desire, or no, Duchess Dyer.
Yeah.
It writes itself.
Yeah, there's some sort of erotic tension between her and Overlord. Again, very inspiring to me as a kid starting a band.
MCC doesn't know it yet, but the Neutron 90 is about to make an unscheduled stop. Now!
So I like that New York is is under the control of the evil.
General. Commander Courage, Zone Riders, scramble, scramble.
It's essentially becoming Escape from New York.
Yeah.
Which I'm okay with.
Yeah, no, I'm sign me up.
They should make a cartoon series out of that.
The Snake Chronicles.
Snake Plissken is like a very obvious cartoon character, right?
Yeah.
Like he'd be perfect.
He was in the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kurt Russell,
So,
eternally
Commander Courage,
hot.
you and the Zone Riders have
Yes.
to retrieve that Neutron 90 from the New York zone.
We have to assume that Overlord brought that plane down. So he must be after the Neutron 90 also.
It would be
There's so many great sound clips for your band, George.
Yes.
I'd never be able to make any additional protective
Welker.
suits.
And Overlord would use it to create a weapon that would make your existing suits useless.
If I could just get my hands on him, I would make Overlord useless.
Thanks to one of Dr. Lawrence's gadgets.
Was Schwarzenegger popular at the time?
Was that supposed to be like a soft Arnold Schwarzenegger?
Yeah, they're trying really hard for the international team.
And like so many of these characters just feel like they're 1 degree away from someone I recognize from a comic book. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. Yeah. Was that Colossus from without the metal?
Yeah.
I wish I had a techno band so I could use all of these samples in like a dance number.
There's
No
still
time
time.
like today. Yeah.
Yeah,
see?
right.
Laura and I are on the same page.
Right. It's only Saturday morning. I have all shattered day to do this.
The crash, but also get a look at it.
It's my SPRC, self-propelled reconnaissance camera. You see, this one is programmed to home in on the transport's locator signal.
I think that's Welker.
I like his glasses. Really cool.
The pilot, he is alive. Yeah, he's turning into a zoner. But that's one tough fella.
Yeah, I can vouch for that. He's Len Jacobs. He saved my life in the Desert Wars.
I remember. You were wounded,
So
half
layered.
dead of thirst. He carried you over a mile on his back.
And I swore one day I'd return that favor.
Uh-oh, trouble. Razorback. I'm afraid to say that's all we're going to see. Why? Well, that's why. Happens every time.
All right, let's move out.
Commander, I know how you feel about Jacobs, but getting that Neutron 90 back from Overlord has to come first.
I know, General. But once we have it, Jacobs is my next priority.
Good. Go to it, Dirk.
By the way, the military-industrial complex is out of control if they can afford all of those rooms with circular tables.
We're all betting on you, Commander.
Do you think Dirk is supposed to be like a Dolph Lundgren type? Getting a little daddy Dolph Lundgren there.
He also reminds me of Duke from G.I. Joe.
Yeah, just like
this, like whatever's popular, they're like, well, let's take that from here and that from there. But
Yeah.
and,
a stock blonde white guy.
yeah, it could have been built off Dolph too. So
Yeah.
Fine with it.
All right. So the Chrysler Building is the center of evil. I don't know if that's based on anything.
Razorback. Well,
I mean, according to the Conservative Party, this is what New York is like, right?
Yeah.
That's what I understand.
And I have to say, during SantaCon, this is accurate.
What is SantaCon?
Oh.
Oh, Laura.
oh boy.
What is it?
Laura.
It's where everybody under the age of 21 from New Jersey pours into the city
And Long Island.
dressed as Santa and gets hammered and vomits all over the street.
Is this like Fleet Week in the winter?
It's not even New York specific too. It happens all
really?
over the place. Oh yeah, it goes on in San Francisco and in Seattle and stuff. Yeah, it's
SantaCon?
incredibly dumb.
It sounds really smelly.
Also, I'd probably participate if someone wanted to do this. Like most dumb things, I'm in.
Do they have one in Columbus?
Not that I've ever.
Not yet.
Witnessed. Yeah, I guess I could start it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the Shaturday Christmas show is where we have Saturday morning cartoons vomiting. I mean, drink. I don't know.
Saturday Shanta.
SantaCon, yeah.
SantaCon.
Okay.
Others just talk a good game.
I have a game for
That's another
you,
Walker.
Razorback. Russian roulette.
that's enough. We have more important things to deal with than your petty differences. Open the container.
Does Overlord kind of have like Freddie Mercury vibes? Anyone else?
He also sounds a lot like Cobra Commander. Maybe I'm just on the G.I. Joe kick right now.
Yeah, I can
but-
see that.
I mean, I guess there's only so many like evil voices you can have. You know, if he just spoke like this, you wouldn't be that afraid of him. Oh, let's take over the planet. All right. No, you gotta do it like. Wow, that sounds more like a cha 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 cha.
Yeah, as a cab driver.
Yeah, I'm not a voice actor.
I don't get it. Somebody must have... What did you two do with it?
Don't appear more stupid than you are. As zoners, they have no will to do anything other than what they're told. Quite right, Bandit. It was taken by someone who is not totally a zoner. Yet, where did you hide it, Lieutenant?
Jacobs, Air Force, United States, serial number A. Something.
I'll get more than your name, rank, and serial number.
No! We need him to talk when the zonification is complete. Unless you and your troopers can find the Neutron 90 first. Search the crash area and expect the Zone Riders to put in an appearance.
I don't mean to be Joe here, but I've already lost interest.
I'm actually kind of into it. I think it's very good animation, and the sound is awesome too.
Yeah, there's a lot of. I would love to dress up as one of them, like the red on the face. And these are kind of reminding me of the Wheelies. Remember the Wheelies from Return to Oz?
Oh, Wheeler? Yeah, Wheeler.
Wheelers. Yeah, sorry.
This as cosplay, I think, would break many minds. So consider it.
Yeah, it seems like it would be a deep cut.
Yeah, the deeper the cut, I think maybe going to a cosplay in a cartoon that does not yet exist.
Going to a cosplay.
Going to a cosplay.
Sorry, guys, I'm busy this weekend. I'm going to a cosplay. Thanks.
Spoken like a true cosplayer. Yeah.
What do you call it?
I don't know.
A quorum?
Convention, usually.
You go to a convention, but you
you convend at the convention.
And you
All right.
cause up a cosplay.
All right.
Control Central, do you copy?
Reading you 5 by 5, sir. Telemetry is reading full spectrum life science. Pulse respiration, radiation, all channels open.
We'll lose voice transmission as soon as you enter the zone. So, I just want to say, good hunting, Dirk.
Bring them both back. Bet on it, General. All right, let's do it.
Those, of course, are toys.
I want one.
Yeah. Like
Yeah,
the toy or the real one?
Both.
Okay.
This animation rules. Look at that. Like
That's beautiful.
really nice.
There's 64 more episodes out there.
All right, we're dressing like her.
You know, Duchess, when I was a mercenary soldier, I didn't tolerate laziness.
How impressive, Reaper. I'll be sure to tell Overlord when I have dinner with him tonight.
Let's try again.
Such a humble brag.
Where did you hide the Neutron 90? Where? Tell me.
Yes, Overlord.
That's how I look after editing one of these episodes. After an all-nighter. Friday into Saturday morning.
Jacob hid the Neutron 90 in the rubble. Beneath the Radio City Music Hall marquee.
That's less than a block from here. Get it?
Is that the short circuit robot?
Yeah, really.
Johnny Five.
The aiming on these systems is terrible. It's just like there's so many bullets and not one person got hit.
And you'd think with all the mechanics involved, they would have thought during the engineering process to put a cover on the front of their...
Yes.
You're not even on the merry-go-round. But you are in the shooting gallery, and you're the top.
Wow. Okay, so that was part one. That's a good point, Laura, that the vehicles all weirdly seem to have these spaces as if a giant child's hand could put a person into that little vehicle, you know? No doors. It's, yeah.
Premeditated for what sounds like a very opportunistic toy line.
So what are your thoughts so far?
I don't hate it.
That is the highest praise of that you can have on a Saturday morning. Steve, are you going to buy all the toys?
No, I don't think I'm going to. I think this is the one that I'm going to skip out on.
But do you remember this at all or no?
I don't remember this at all, and this would have been right up my alley. Like my favorite cartoon growing up was Star Blazers, and I loved it because I thought it was realistic. They had people die, and like, you know, this seems to have stakes, so I probably would have liked it. You know,
Yeah.
a little bit scared by it, but liked it when I was growing up. But no, I don't know. Maybe I haven't gotten into the characters. It seems there's too many of them, like for me to grasp all of them, and maybe once again it's the pilot, so they slim it out. But
Yeah, well, they're not very well differentiated.
no, I think that's the other problem.
And Professor Cartoon, your thoughts?
I like it. It's very Japanese. I mean, you said it is Japanese, right?
Yeah, I believe
Like
it was produced by
Japan?
AKOM, who did I don't know if that's, but they did a lot in the 80s, and I only know them because they were fired from Batman the Animated Series because the animation wasn't considered up to snuff. I'm a big fan of that
wow.
cartoon, but
Well, I think it's pretty decent in comparison to some of the other animation we've watched. So I'll leave it at that.
absolutely.
But I do
Absolutely.
think that like they've done a lot more character development on the bad guys than the good guys. So far I feel no connection to anyone but the bad guys. So we'll see what happens.
I feel connection to the kid, because I would follow any organ sound through any sort of weird mist. That's just
Any
me.
sort of barricade, you'd
Yeah, cross right
blindly
over.
drawn to it. Yeah.
All right, let's watch some commercials for some other toys that I have no memory of at all. And I think it's telling that while trying to gather these together, I couldn't tell if these were distinct commercials. Saturday morning cartoons will be right back.
General, sir! No, we need more GIs! We need more than ordinary GIs. We need guts. We need guts, ground troops armed to the teeth and tough as nails. We need guts, Aikido forces, dark warriors of martial arts. And we need guts, jungle fighters, a rugged and reckless band of misfits. How do I get them, sir? Guts can be bought in packs. Do we need more GIs, sir? What we need is more guts. Yes, sir!
Diecast. The Bionic 6 saga continues. Eat bricks, Bionic 6. Just that it's saved by the Bionic...
What did he say?
Dirt Bike, Bionic Quad Runner.
Eat bricks.
Oh, okay.
But even that's
not
pretty.
what I heard.
Even that's pretty daring for like a kid.
Yeah, that looks like a TV news van also.
Yeah.
It totally does.
I think that, yeah, that's a hidden, this is a media critique.
Oh no! Evil Scarab escapes this time from the Bionic 6.
Bionic 6. Figures and vehicles each sold separately. It's a grand toy.
Big. Not so big. Savage Mondo Blitzers. 48 monstrously maniacal mutants on wheels. They're
The
big,
90s.
mean,
Oh man, I want these.
Savages.
They got big Hans, killer commandos, and 8 big wounds. They're bad to the bone, with a loaded diaper and a Tyrannosaurus axe. They'll make you nunchuck. We've never let
These
our
are
kid have
amazing.
those things. Savage Mondo Blitzers, sold in gangs of 4. Get them.
Easily the best toy we've ever seen on any
Holy
Saturday.
shit. That
Really?
commercial was so ambitious. I love it.
It's amazing. I really want the one that's a baby who shit his diaper.
I love
Yeah.
that diaper.
That's cool.
Eat bricks, baby.
Caitlin, speaking of toys with diapers, do you remember those creepy little dolls called Quints?
Oh,
Quints, and they
were they from
these-
like a machine? The machine dolls, or
No, you had to buy them at like Kmart or something, but I think it was Quints for quintuple, and you'd get 5 of them, and they were naked babies with like a cloth diaper on them, and then they came with bottles, and you could fill the bottles up with water and feed them, and then you would wet their diaper, but they were like this big.
I definitely had one of those, but it was like a bigger, like baby doll sized doll that
Just
also did that. Yeah.
Wanting to prepare all young women for their futures.
Sure.
Yes.
Yeah. Horrifying. Yeah.
Right, you're talking about Quint from Jaws, right?
That's where I went. Crush it like Quint.
Yeah, and he
Need a bigger
pisses
boat.
himself because he drank too much.
Now, take your most powerful forces anywhere.
Let's do it.
You need the miniest, mightiest heroes of them all. You need the best. The military muscle men.
Awesome attack vehicle. Combat copter. Fire. Wow. Feel the power.
Vibrasonic.
Let's go. Attack jet to the rescue.
Powerful attack vehicles with firing missiles and vibrasonic action and sound. Pumped up, scales down. A pocket full of power. Military muscle men.
From the Eagle Force collection, it's Eagle Force Talon Tank and Captain Eagle. Plus Turk and the Eagle Force Eliminator Jeep. Figures and vehicles each sold separately. Batteries for Jeep and Tank not included. You can pretend the Jeep is trapped, a logjam in front, and avalanche in back.
Bring up the tank.
You can pretend the Eagle Force tank can save the day. You can make it climb the avalanche and clear the way. Eagle Force Eliminator Jeep and Talon Tank plus Captain Eagle and Turk. Vehicles and figures each sold separately. By Mego.
So other than Savage Mondo Blitzers, I saw nothing distinct about any of those toys except that it was perpetuating the militarism of the United States. And I haven't slept much lately.
Clear line.
It was kind of like the similar advertisements to the buy war bonds.
Yes.
I was gonna say though that the military muscle men, what were the pink muscle men? Remember those from the 80s?
Muscles, right? With the M period U period S period.
Yeah, were they supposed to be?
Muscle?
Are they from the same line?
I don't think so.
I only know the muscle men because when I worked at Big Fun, it was like people collect those still to this day.
They've got it. Put up your weapons.
So the big, brave Zone Riders turn out to be nothing but...
Now!
They all fell over.
Reach for the stars, Razorback.
find the action kind of boring.
I don't. Yeah, I guess I don't fully understand what the goal is. Who's fighting who?
So the zone riders who are in the suits are immune to the zone.
Oh.
And they're fighting the Black Widows.
Who created the zone?
Well, yes, as minions of Overlord.
Got it.
It's finally hitting me that some of the character design is very Mad Max inspired. That's what I was seeing, like the one crazy guy that has the goatee, I think.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I don't remember that. I'm sure that guy has a name. No.
Something sexual.
Yes. That'd be a good name right there.
Something sexual.
Objective secured. Heading on out.
Nice move, Max. Rendezvous outside the zone. I'm going in to get Jacobs.
I'm going with you.
Negative, Cat. Max needs you. I'll see you on the other side. That's an order.
Yes.
No time for love.
They're getting away! Stop them!
They're as good as done for.
It must be weird to be Frank Welker.
In which way?
In all ways, but that like 90% of the words you've said are things like, "They're getting away!"
I thought you were going to say it must be weird going to battle in a lazy boy.
Yeah, that sounds comfortable to me.
With triangle wheels.
Great explosion.
Goodbye and good riddance, Commander Courage.
Implied death.
I'll worry about how to get back after I find Jacobs.
This'll not slow them down.
Look out!
Nice catch,
child.
They didn't hear long.
He looks like he has a loaded diaper.
Yeah.
That action figure is sold separately.
The diaper?
Yeah, he's might be a savage Mondo Blitzer who wandered onto the set.
What I need now is a quick way into that place. And there it is.
General McFarland, we've lost all life sign readings on Commander Courage. Respiration, pulse, everything.
I hope he cut off his own transmission for some reason or other.
Here comes company. Time to leave.
That's not how physics works.
My people destroying the Zone Riders.
Time to leave, Lieutenant.
Courage! There's no way out for you now!
Hope this goes all the way to the garage. Well, we'll soon find out.
I like that the enemies pause for the protagonist to say their line, yeah.
Intruder alert.
Like in life.
Search and destroy. Search and destroy.
Good. Transportation.
It's another Johnny 5.
It's time to repay a debt, Lieutenant.
Yeah, or you're on the back in front of the through a desert. You're just driving them around.
Yeah.
Out of my way. I'll take care of Courage myself.
These vehicles do not look very efficient.
The last few kilometers. Everything gave up, yeah? To depend on the unknown is dangerous. Stay alert.
They're coming.
Look out!
You okay, son?
The doll.
Did the
Wait,
kids
did
say
he just
no?
say no?
Yeah, I thought the exact same thing.
Could you go back? That was so funny.
But his delivery was great there.
Yeah.
You okay, son?
So weird.
Do it, bandit!
If we don't get the Neutron 90, nobody gets
That's impossible! He's dead!
Zone Riders, move it!
What?
The Neutron 90. Where is it?
Destroyed. It's Bandit's fault.
Destroyed? I'll deal with you later. This is Overlord. The Zone Riders must not get away. Search and destroy.
I've said that to my band members.
And destroy.
You need that "This is Overlord" clip opening up your next show.
Yeah,
Right.
that's how it should start. End to end. And probably most of the middle too.
That is search and destroy?
I don't get those the maces, the spinning maces on the side.
That's what's getting your hang up is?
Yeah, that's it. The rest of it,
Everything else, smooth sailing. But those maces.
Double back.
I give the orders, Reaper. They've escaped. Next time, the story will be very, very different.
We'll get you to recovery center, son.
Well, men, even though we...
Destroy.
Glenn.
Destroy.
Caution, Commander. The
Awkward.
needler is set on destroy.
I know. Give me the needler, Len. You don't want to destroy it. You're out of the zone now. Soon you'll be normal again.
Destroy. Destroy.
No, Len.
Sonny Bono's out of
Obey Overlord's order.
control.
That's a great call.
Commander.
It's okay, Len. You're gonna be all right.
Destroy. Destroy.
A
Destroy.
little.
well, that's our thumbnail for the episode.
Yeah.
Yes. Just end it.
This was on weekday TV in 1987.
This kid with a constant drop of blood coming out of his mouth.
Yeah, wielding a
Terrifying.
firearm at a crowd of adults. We're going to be fine as a nation. We always have been.
Oi.
Come on, kid. Let's go home.
Time for bed.
Man, I could have killed you, Commander.
I was gambling that you wouldn't.
Remind me never to play poker with you.
Max! Max!
That's Welker too.
Johnny, how you doing?
That definitely sounded like it.
Thanks to all of you.
It must be wonderful
Hugging
to
him
have your son
two
back.
ham hands.
Thanks, son.
That's the way I do it.
And he's wearing like his 1940s nightgown.
I promised her. You repaid your debt. And for Johnny and his mother, the nightmare is finally over.
Yes, but there are millions of others, Cat. The war goes on.
All right.
Wow.
That was a lot, I would say.
It was
Yeah.
intense.
To your point, Steve, it definitely felt like we could cut out certain scenes and retrofit them with others and totally repackage it as an Escape from New York
I like it.
cartoon.
So I would say that show would be something that the pitch meeting must have been pretty weird for Spiral Zone, where like, how do you sum that up? And so this is a new game that's based on what that might be like. It's called Animation or fabrication? It is a game in which I'll read a possible summary of a cartoon, and you'll guess whether this was ever actually a cartoon or whether it's some just bullshit I made up on the fly. Okay?
Oh,
I love
Caitlin
it. Great
is gonna
concept.
Smoke us on this.
Oh, I don't know about that.
Get out your ashtray now.
Okay. Animation or fabrication? Number 1. Based on a comic book, this primetime cartoon series featured an underwater police department in which Chief Abalone and Inspector Gill fight crime and fish mobster Biscotti Calamari. Animation or fabrication?
Animation.
Animation.
I'm going to say fabrication.
This was a cartoon called Fish Police. 6 episodes in 1992. And they only aired 3 of them. Primetime. The insane cast included John Ritter, Robert Guillaume, Ed Asner, Tim Curry, Buddy Hackett, and Frank Welker.
How have we not watched this? Oh my God.
This is itching something, a bit of familiarity in my brain. I don't know why.
I just think anytime I see Buddy Hackett making that face, that some part of my brain gets turned on. Yeah.
Fish Police. That is so specific. Yeah, you guys got to watch this.
Yeah, very Jessica Rabbit inspired fish.
I saw that.
Fish,
Yeah.
sexy fish lady.
Hello. Hey,
Blonde option.
get out of my Pornhub search history. Okay. Number 2. Based on the Atari video game Joust, a phoenix riding prince must battle his evil father for supremacy of the universe in a medieval sci-fi mashup. Animation or fabrication?
Animation.
I'm going animation as well.
No, I'm sorry. That was something I made up 2 minutes ago.
Oh, good work.
That is a fabrication.
That's why he was
Feels like it could be like every single generic
Yeah.
medieval animation.
The first
Yeah.
one, I was like, I don't know if I remember this one. I'm like, I definitely remember this one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely remember this one.
There is no difference between any of these. Number 3. The spirit of a murdered ancient Egyptian prince lives on in a San Francisco boy, and mummies return to life to protect him from his murderer, the evil sorcerer Scarab.
Animation.
Yeah, animation.
If you made this up, George, I'm going to be really impressed. I'm going to go with animation.
You guys are all correct. This was Mummies Alive, 42 episodes of syndication, concluding with the 1997 episode Show Me the Mummy.
Oh my God. It looks way more X-Men than Mummy.
Yeah.
Number 4. The corpse of Sherlock Holmes is revived in the 22nd century to fight the clone of Professor Moriarty. Animation or fabrication?
Oh man, I want that to be real. Animation. I'm just gonna say animation.
I'm going to go fabrication.
I'm going to go animation.
Well, I got good news for you, Laura. It does exist. There were 26 episodes from 1999 to 2001, first on Fox Kids, then in syndication. That's right. It's Sherlock Holmes in the 22nd century. All right.
I recognize that.
Okay. 2 more. Number 5. An injured mountain man is rebuilt with 4 sentient cybernetic limbs by government scientists. His job? Protect Mount St. Helens from alien criminals who have realized it is secretly the entrance to Earth's diamond core. The voices of each of the talking limbs, Frank Welker.
I'm gonna say fabrication, but I really want that one to be real.
I'm going to go animation, just wishful thinking.
I'm going to go fabrication as well.
That is, in fact, bullshit. I'm sorry, fabrication. I should have made it animation or bullshit.
A seedling from George's brain.
Okay. Last one. 4 young friends get sucked into a TV and try to escape from old cartoon characters. The show was produced cheaply, reusing footage from the 1940s to 1980s.
Is that this show?
Yes, it is. I'm sorry. That is actual. That is reality. Good work. And that is how you play animation or fabrication.
Well done.
Love it. Well done.
Whew. Let's see. Did I learn anything today?
Did you learn anything today, George? Did anyone learn anything?
I did. I learned one thing. I Googled Kushner, the executive producer, found out that he was also the executive producer of Tron, which I think some of the vehicles
Whoa.
maybe, could have crossed over.
That makes
Definitely.
sense.
How about you, Laura?
I learned Steve has worked on a lot of really interesting shows.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And I learned that we should have Steve use some of his connections to cobble together an Escape from New York cartoon using Spiral Zone.
Yeah.
Let's do it. Let's make it our own. No, let's not air this and we can just steal the idea.
Yeah.
What about you, George?
Oh, I have learned something today. From birth, we are bombarded with sensory inputs that guide our thoughts and behaviors. We receive stimuli and, over time, develop a complex and coordinated series of reactions to them. Further experience only refines these reactions until we become what can only be described as a mosaic of traits that are our labyrinthine identity. In that sense, however, we are all in the spiral zone of expectations of ourselves and others. And so we must all become our own internal international team of zone riders and destroy these generators that control our minds, returning us to an innocent, slack-jawed, and drooling state, ready to do it all over again. And that's why I always say, the more you battle is twice the knowing.
That was a good one. Wow. Yeah.
I think it's the best one I've seen.
I feel like I said what we're all thinking.
Right.
Certainly said what I was thinking.
All right. Well, everybody, I want you to avoid going in the zone. I don't care what kind of cool, weirdo music you hear, but from all of us to all of you,
Happy
Shaturday!
Oh man, we need Nick and Joe.